We're live.
Good evening. It's the House Judiciary Committee on the 6th of April, 2022. This is our voting session. We're going to try and move relatively expeditiously, but we do have a number of bills to deal with here this evening. We've received several bills from the Senate, several which I'm going to propose we concur, and several that are bills where we're not going to concur. I'm going to do the two bills where we're not concurring first, or I believe we're not concurring. We're going to find out. House Bill 83 is the marriage bill from Chair Atterbury. We already appointed a conference committee for the Senate bill, so this would be appointing a conference committee, or would be not concurring and appointing a conference committee for the House bill. Can I have a motion not to concur?
Not to concur.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of not concurring, please raise your hand. Bartlett, Moon, Cox, Lopez, Davis, Williams, Crutchfield, Shetty, Howell, Grammer, Anderson, Tolles, Fisher. Anybody in favor, opposed to the motion not to concur? Shoemaker. All right, the motion not to concur is adopted, and we're going to appoint a conference committee that will be me as chair, Shetty, and Bartlett. House Bill 153 is next. This is Delegate Crutchfield's bill on the spousal defense. Also moving not to concur. We already did this, I think, on the Senate bill. There's a motion not to concur. Is there a second?
Second.
And motion in the second. All in favor of the motion not to concur, please raise your hands. Bartlett, Moon, Shoemaker, Lopez, Davis, Williams, Crutchfield, Shetty, Howell, Grammer, Anderson, Tolles, Fisher, and Cham. Anybody opposed to the motion not to concur? Cox. All right. Motion not to concur is adopted. It'll be Shetty as the chair of the conference committee, Bartlett, Delegate Bartlett, and Delegate Crutchfield on the conference committee. Now, on to other things. We have House Bill 148. This is Delegate Bartlett's bill related to the definition of stalking. My understanding, Delegate Bartlett, is that we're taking what seems to be a relatively technical amendment from the Senate, I think, and taking it on your bill. Is that correct? You're on.
That's correct, Mr. Chair.
All right. Does anyone have, this should be in your packet. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, it's just a C reference type of amendment.
Say that again.
It's just like a C reference, it's type of amendment.
It appears to be a technical amendment. Lauren, that's how you would characterize it?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. So I believe here the motion is to concur in the Senate amendments. Could I have that motion, please?
Motion to concur.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion on the motion to concur with the Senate amendment? All right. Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to concur, please raise your hands. That's Bartlett, Moon, Shoemaker, Cox, Lopez, Davis, Williams, Crutchfield, Shetty, Howell, Grammer, Anderson, Cham, Erican, McComas, and Fisher. Anybody opposed to the motion to concur? Didn't think so. All right. So we will concur in the Senate amendments to House Bill 148. For what it's worth, the Senate cross-file was on our vote list. That's Senate Bill 328. I'm going to get through the rest of the concurrences, and then we'll roll through those bills here as well. House Bill 349 is the vice chair's bill on small claims. You want to move to concur, Mr. Vice Chair?
Yes.
All right. Could I have a second on that?
Second.
All right. Mr. Vice Chair, can you tell us what the Senate amendments do to 349?
Rather than banning this process of jailing people for these failure to appears, they're simply removing the interrogatories themselves so that there's nothing to appear for.
Okay. Any questions about what the Senate amendments would do? There's a motion to concur. Seeing none.
Is everybody still, Mr. Chair, is everybody still good with this, or all the sides were okay with this amendment?
Yes, the vice chair is putting 2 thumbs up. All right. Any further questions? Seeing none. Our motion to concur is seconded. All in favor of the motion to concur, please raise your hands. Delegates Bartlett, Moon, Cox, Lopez, Davis, Williams, Crutchfield, Shetty, Howell, Grammer, Anderson, Cham, Carden, Erican, and Fisher, and McComas, and Anderson and Munoz. Anybody opposed? Shoemaker. All right, the motion to concur is adopted. And we will send that to the floor. All right, the next one is House Bill 1248, and I'll need an assist from council, I think, on this one. This is Lauren.
Yes.
The Senate amendments do what?
Okay, so just a reminder that this was the bill that attempted to address the concerns with the repeat audit findings that DHS was not investigating reports of child abuse in a timely manner in accordance with statutory deadlines. So the amendments revamp the bill to require quarterly reporting by DHS regarding investigations that are not completed within the statutory timeframes and require an explanation for the delay. They require a yearly report to the General Assembly on the progress of the local departments in complying with the timeframes. 2 one-time reporting requirements relating to child welfare workload assessments. And then the amendments also add a licensed clinical professional counselor to the professionals who may assess whether a child sustains a mental injury in a child abuse investigation.
All right, are there any questions for Lauren related to the Senate amendments? My understanding is that everyone's happy with them.
Move to conform.
There's move to concur. Is there a second to the motion to concur?
Second.
And motion and a second. All right. Here we are. Any further comments? Any further questions? Seeing none. All those in favor of the motion to concur, please raise your hands. Bartlett, Moon, Cox, Shoemaker, Lopez, Davis, Williams, Crutchfield, Shetty, Howell, Munoz, Grammer, Anderson, Cham, Erican, Tolles, Carden, McComas, and I think that's it. Anybody opposed? All right, that's a motion to concur, so we will do just that, send that to the floor. Now, on to voting on actual bills. Well, those are actual bills too, but these are not whatever concurrences. And see what we can do here. The first 3 that we're going to do, Senate Bill 328 is the first of the first 3. These are the Senate cross files of the bills we just concurred to. So they're in the same posture as the House bills we effectively are concurring the amendments to. So with that, 328 is the Senate cross file of Delegate Bartlett's stalking bill. We just agreed to effectively the Senate version. Can I have a motion? This is a straight favorable.
Move favor.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? Wouldn't imagine. All right. The vice chair,
Yes.
Shoemaker,
Yes.
Anderson. Kurt, you muted.
Yes.
All right. Erican,
Yes.
Bartlett,
Yes.
Carden,
Yes.
Conaway, I think is excused. Conaway is excused. Cox,
Yes.
Crutchfield,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Juanica Fisher,
Yes.
Grammer,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
Jones, Rachel Jones. Rachel Jones? I don't have Rachel Jones. Okay. McComas. I'm
Yes.
sorry, I missed Lopez. Sorry, Lopez. Goodness.
Yes.
McComas.
Yes.
Munoz.
Yes.
Shetty.
Yes.
Cham.
Yes.
Tolles. Williams.
Yes.
All right. So that is 19. Okay. So now we're at 452. Senate Bill 452 is the Senate cross file of the Vice Chair's bill.
Move favorable.
There's a motion for a favorable. Is there a second?
Chair, that's going to be favorable with amendments. It's in there. It's just to conform it to the House bill as they sent it over.
For 452, we just concurred.
No, we concurred on the House bill. The Senate bill, they sent it over without the amended language, the interrogatories. So that
Oh, so
they
this
sent
is-
it over. It didn't, the amendment didn't make it on. We're fixing it.
Oh, okay. So we have to adopt. All right. So we're going to take a step back. Not a motion for a favorable yet. We have an amendment. I'm sorry. That's my
Yep,
fault.
and it's in the packet and it's the same exact amendment that the Senate put onto House Bill 349. We're just doing the same thing to theirs. The AG and came back with that language after they had already passed it.
Okay. All right.
Move the amendment then.
Motion for the amendment. Is there a second for the amendment?
Second.
All right. Any discussion on the amendments? Now we'll conform this to the bill that yeah, okay. Great. Seeing none, all in favor of the amendment, please raise your hands. Bartlett, Moon, Lopez, Davis, Williams, Crutchfield, Howell, Grammer, Anderson, Cham, Carden. Okay. Anybody opposed to the amendment? Shoemaker, McComas. All right, the amendment is adopted. We're on the bill now as amended. Let's try that again.
Move favorable.
All right, motion for a favorable as amended. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, now we're fine. Any further discussion? Seeing none, the vice chair,
Yes.
Shoemaker,
No.
Anderson. Anderson is away from his phone. Erican,
Yes.
Bartlett,
Yes.
Carden,
Yes.
Cox,
No.
Crutchfield,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Juanita Fisher,
Yes.
Grammer,
No.
Howell,
Yes.
Rachel Jones,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
McComas,
No.
Munoz,
No.
Shetty,
Yes.
Cham,
No.
Tolles,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
14. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14. Right. Okay, 14-6. Oh, I see. All right. 820 is next. Senate Bill 820. This is the cross file of Delegate Valentino Smith regarding child abuse neglect investigations. We just did the concurrence, just making sure. Lauren, this is a straight favorable, correct?
Yes, that's right.
All right, all right. Got one
Move
thing.
favorable.
Motion for a favorable. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, great. Further discussion? Seeing none, the vice chair,
Yes.
Shoemaker,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Erican,
Yes.
Bartlett,
Yes.
Carden,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Crutchfield,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Juanita Fisher,
Yes.
Grammer,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
Rachel Jones,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
McComas,
Yes.
Munoz,
Yes.
Shetty,
Yes.
Cham,
Yes.
Tolles,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
All right, that's 20. Okay, so now we're going to Senate Bill 92. We're out from these cross files and concurrences, and we're going to Senate Bill 92. Grab this folder. Are there amendments? Doesn't appear to be any amendments.
Move favorable.
For favorable, is there a second?
Second.
All right. So straight favorable on Senate Bill 92. We are second to E&T. Any questions about the bill? Seeing none, the vice chair,
Yes.
Shoemaker,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Erican,
Yes.
Bartlett,
yes,
Carden,
Yes.
Conaway is excused. Cox,
Yes.
Crutchfield,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Juanita Fisher,
Yes.
Grammer,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
Rachel Jones,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
McComas,
Yes.
Munoz,
Yes.
Shetty,
Yes.
Cham,
Yes.
Coles,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
All right, that's 20. Okay, now we're going to House Bill 1448. We've been talking about this for a couple days now. I believe.
I'm sorry, what was the bill number?
1448. This is about concurrent civil jurisdiction and ordinances and violation of ordinances. All right.
Move it.
There's a motion for a favorable and a second. Is there further discussion or questions on this bill? Okay. The vice chair,
Yes.
Shoemaker,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Erican,
Yes.
Bartlett,
yes,
Carden,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Crutchfield,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Juanita Fisher,
Yes.
Grammer,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
Rachel Jones,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
McComas,
Yes.
Munoz,
Yes.
Shetty,
Yes.
Cham.
Yes.
Okay. Tolles,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
20. Okay, now I'm going to go to Senate Bill 563. I'd like to make a motion that I believe we adopted amendments that would have added, I think it's House Bill 174 that has to do with lead paint. I think council, am I right on that bill number?
Yes.
Going to add that. I'd like to make a motion to reconsider that and to send this back to the, and to basically retract that amendment and send the bill back to its original posture as it came from the Senate.
Move to do that.
We're going to move to reconsider. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. So again, what this does is we're taking the amendment off that would have added the lead paint part of this. We're taking that off by doing that and sending it back to the original form with which it came over from the Senate. Is there discussion on the motion to reconsider? No? Okay. Delegate McComas, do you have a question about the motion to reconsider or just about the bill?
About the bill, and
All right, well, let's do this. Let's get back to the original bill. So all those in favor of the motion to reconsider that vote, please raise your hands. All right, Delegate Moon, Bartlett, Erican, McComas, Cox, Shoemaker, Shetty, Crutchfield, Williams, Grammer, Munoz, Howell, Lopez, Davis, Anderson, Cham, Carden, Tolles, Jones. Anybody opposed? Seeing none. Okay, so now everybody, we are on Senate Bill 563 as it came from the Senate. And now there are still amendments out there, but I believe, Delegate Carden, that they were amendments drafted to the issue related to lead paint. So, okay, so they're not.
Right, so I'm gonna, Mr. Chair, I will withdraw my amendment because my amendment had to do solely with that, with an amendment to that amendment. So we don't have to consider that amendment.
Okay, so now we're just on the bill. And we'll go to Delegate McComas first, then Delegate Erican.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Not sure I know where we are in the process, but I talked to somebody that does a lot of work in this area, and they suggested we follow what Baltimore City does, which basically says that you can throw somebody out of the property, but you can't collect rent if you are not in compliance with the rules of the municipality or the county regarding renting the property, that you have an effective license. The point is that there's a lot of flipping that goes on of houses right now. A lot of times houses will go up to foreclosure and you don't know if somebody's renting it or not. And when it goes up for foreclosure, you don't necessarily know what the condition of the property is or if somebody's living there. So the point being that, in other words, the people can't continue to stay there because you're not in compliance with the rules. You can at least get them out. You maybe can't collect any rent, but you can get them out of the property if you want to sell it, if you want to refurbish it, whatever. You can't refurbish people if they're squatting in the property, because you don't have the license. And I think maybe we need to look at how Baltimore City does it, because basically we ought to make the rules on the front end as opposed to the back end, because it's going to make I had them look at the bill, and then they looked at the Baltimore City rules, and they said, really, Baltimore City has a much better mechanism than what we're doing. So we're making it very difficult to get people out of the property if we do this on the back end.
Why don't we do this actually, because let me get to the discussion part of this. And let's do this. Could I have, with 1 second, then we'll respond to Delegate McComas. Can I have a motion on the bill? I forgot to ask for a motion on the bill as
Favorable.
motion for a favorable. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, now discussion and incorporating all of what Delegate McComas just said. This doesn't deal with foreclosure evictions, and there's a motion that you can make for possession still under 14102 is my understanding. So, and I see Delegate Williams nodding her head off to the side here. So I'm not sure that this is that bill, I guess. And I think by what we've kind of done by taking, I thought at least initially it sounded that there would be some interest in including the lead paint part of it, but we're just bringing it back to the beginning here just to try to make it as straightforward as possible, or at least try to. So I'm not sure that what you're discussing is necessarily relevant to this, but.
Well, the only thing I can say is I had somebody look at it that they do a lot of this work and have done it a lot of different cases. And when they looked it over, they said, why don't you do what Baltimore City does? Because they're concerned that you're not going to have that easy a time of getting people out. And I mean, they're in court, they're in district court dealing with this stuff all the time around the state. So I'm relying on what they're saying, because I don't really have a feel for this. And they've done a lot of cases, and that's a concern. So I guess what I'm saying, I'm concerned about changing something when I have somebody that does a lot of this, and they looked it over. I had them look over Senator Hedelman's bill and said, hey, look at this, tell me what you think. And then they gave me the rental dwelling rules and regulations for the Baltimore City Code. So my concern is that this is a fairly it's a fairly technical area, and a lot of times the judges are not that skilled in this kind of stuff, and I'm concerned that it just seems to me that it's real clear that they can get them out, but they just can't collect rent like they have under the Baltimore City. So that's all I can tell you. I'm going to vote against it just because.
Delegate Arakan has her hand raised. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'm just wondering if maybe council can tell me, what does 8-402.1A112B of the subtitle, it references it on page 5. It says the subsection does not apply to an action to repossess for breach of lease under that. I'm wondering if you could explain what those actions are under that part of the code, so that I just understand what it's not applying to.
Sure, let me pull that part of the code, okay?
Thanks.
You said which part of the code again? Why? Well,
It's
she's,
8402.1.
okay. And what subsection?
It says A1, I2B of the subtitle. It's just sort of lays out what,
That's the existing law.
yeah, that's what it looks like it is. So it tells us, because I'm wondering if that part of this text is going to alleviate some of the concerns from Delegate McComas and her friend. Because that's another concern I had. Like, if you buy the property's already doesn't have a license, somebody's already living in it, they do have a contract. There's no way for you to become incompliant to get your license because you can't get into the property to fix anything. So what is the recourse for a new owner under this bill in that situation? Or does this other part of the code already cover that issue? And will you still be able to repossess the property from them even if they have a contract?
The council can correct me, but I still think that the landlord, if they demonstrate through their actions, to your point, reading the law, they're demonstrating a clear and imminent danger of doing harms to themselves, other tenants, the landlord's property of representatives, or any other person on the property, and they've given them notice 14 days, they can still evict them for that. I don't think anything in this bill changes that. I think
Okay.
that's independent of,
And
Okay,
that's what I'm reading to, Chair.
yeah.
Okay, and that's an 8402.1.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you, guys.
Thank you. Delegate Cardin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just real quick, I'm supporting this bill. I did a lot of homework on it, as you were aware from yesterday's conversation. And I think it's really a question of policy versus a question of law. I think there may be a takings issue that might come up in court, but the question is whether the policy that we want, which is we want to make sure that entities are properly licensed before they can take these actions. And there's going to be a real question when you have one license for a multiple unit building or entity. And if you are taking property rights from that owner based on a violation of one unit, it could go to the courts. However, that being said, I think it's good policy. I think we're trying to do the right thing. And I appreciate all the help I got from both sides on trying to understand the issue. I'm going to support it in the end.
Okay, the Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I just want to clarify some aspects of this. I don't think it's a taking for the reason that, number one, you can still collect rent from all of the other tenants. And again, I would want to just reiterate a point that the provision only applies to those jurisdictions that do require a license to let property. And so in that scenario, without that license, you're not entitled to let it to someone else. In other words, nothing's being deprived of you until you get that license. And in the meantime, you're still allowed to connect. But really the reason I raised my hand is I just wanted to flag that this is one of these unusual bills that I know some aren't persuaded by this, but it did pass unanimously, it looks like, in both the Judicial Proceedings Committee and on the Senate floor. So with that, I will be a yes.
That appears to be the discussion on Senate Bill 563, which now is a straight favorable. We'll go to a roll call. The Vice Chair.
Yes, as noted.
Shoemaker.
No.
Anderson. Did we just lose it? There he is. Delegate Anderson. You're muted.
Yes, I got knocked off for a second.
All right. Eric Hand.
No.
Bartlett.
Yes.
Cardin.
Yes, and but just to say this very quickly, that the taking is not the allowance to collect rent, it's the allowance to give the owners the rights that they are entitled to based on the contract. That's the question. So, but I'm a yes, because I like the policy.
Delegate Cox,
No.
Crutchfield,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Juanita Fisher,
Yes.
Grammer.
With lots of love and respect, no.
Okay, Howell,
Yes.
Rachel Jones,
Yes.
Lopez.
Yeah.
McComas,
no,
Munoz,
No.
Shetty,
Yes.
Cham,
No.
Bowles,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes, and to explain my vote, Mr. Chair, I don't think it's a taking, as kind of as mentioned earlier. I think if you have a situation, I know this was discussed previously, where a unit owner is intentionally blocking the landlord from being able to access the unit to do the things that they need to do to get the license and compliance. I think there is an exception in the bill that you can bring to the court in the trier of fact to prove that. So for those reasons, I am a yes.
All right, 13, the bill will be going to the floor as a favorable. So now we're on House Bill 703 and the amendments in your file. Again, Delegate Cardin had amendments that are no longer relevant, which sounds harsh, and I don't really mean it to be harsh, just they're not relevant anymore. But there are amendments to conform House Bill 703 to Senate Bill 563. Could I have a motion on the amendments to conform?
Move the amendments to conform.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor of the movement, blah, blah. All in favor of the amendments to conform, please raise your hand. Delegates Bartlett, Moon, Lopez, Davis, Williams, Crutchfield, Shetty, Howell, Anderson, Arakan, Jones, Tolles, Cardin. Anybody opposed to the motion to conform? Shoemaker, Grammer, Cox, Cham, McComas. All right, the motion to conform is adopted. Motion to pass the amendments to conform are adopted. We're now on the bill.
Favorable.
Motion for a favorable is amended. Anybody with a second?
Second.
All right, that's fine. Any questions on now the bill that is the same as the bill we just voted on? Delegate Bartlett?
I just want to make sure. So when I look in the packet and I see House Bill 703 with the reprint, that is everything already done that we just voted on, right?
Yes,
Yeah, we just-
exactly. It just conforms 703 to match now the favorable vote on 563.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure I'm looking at the right thing. Thank you.
Got it. Further questions or comments? Seeing none. The Vice Chair,
Yes.
Shoemaker,
No.
Anderson,
Yes.
Arakan,
No.
Bartlett,
Yes.
Cardin,
Yes.
Cox,
No.
Crutchfield,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Juanita Fisher,
Yes.
Grammer,
No.
Howell,
Yes.
Rachel Jones,
Yes.
Lopez.
Yeah.
McComas,
no,
Munoz,
No.
Shetty,
Yes.
Jam,
No.
Bowles,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
13, motion's adopted. Now going to go actually, I'll just go to Senate Bill 33, which we are conforming to be the same as Delegate Crutchfield's bill on the same subject.
Move to conform.
Motion, okay, so the motion is on the amendment to conform. I can't remember the bill number all of a sudden.
153.
Thank you.
153.
Delegate Crutchfield do that very quickly, of course, because it's her bill. All right, so we're conforming it to the way we passed House Bill 153. So this will be, and we already did the going to conference on the House bill. So we're just getting this out to move that process along.
Mr. Chairman,
Uh-huh.
which bill was that now?
This is
I've lost my
33.
place.
This is the spousal defense.
Oh, okay.
This is, I skipped over one. I'm going to come back to it, but I thought that this would be faster. So of course.
Okay.
But it's the where you're conforming 33 to look like the House bill that it, as it left the House. Can I have a motion on that amendment?
Move the amendment.
And a second.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. All right, all in favor of the amendment, please raise your hands. Amendment to conform to the House bill. Bartlett, Moon, Davis, Lopez, Williams, Crutchfield, Shetty, Howell, Grammer, Cham, Anderson, Fisher, Jones. Anyone opposed to the motion to conform? Eric Han, Cox, Shoemaker. All right. And McCollum.
Move favorable.
There's a motion, the amendment is adopted. There's a motion to move favorable with amendments.
Second.
In a second. Any further discussion? Vice Chair,
Yes.
Shoemaker,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Eric Han,
No.
Bartlett,
Yes.
Carden,
Yes.
Conaway is excused, Cox.
No, and if I can explain, Mr. Chair, I think the Senate amendment is what we've been talking about for the last 3 years or so. I believe that with that amendment, the bill is something that I would like to vote for, but since it's now being, the amendment's being stripped back out, I'm going to be a no.
Okay, Crutchfield,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Juanita Fisher,
Sorry, my mouse. Yes.
Grammer,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
Rachel Jones,
Yes.
Lopez,
Yes.
McComas,
No.
Munoz,
Yes.
Shetty,
Yes.
Cham,
I'm a yes.
Tolles,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
All right, 17. Four, that goes. Now, the last one. Last one, Senate Bill 583. The Judicial Proceedings Committee has engaged in a bit of a mashup. They have merged together 3 different bills into Senate Bill 586. I'm sorry, 586. There are differences in each part. Well, there are a couple differences in 2 of the parts, I should say, to the bills as we originally passed them out of the House. So what the amendment before you would do, and this is the amendment 553021. This amendment would conform effectively those bills more or less into the position that they left the House, with a couple differences. In the part of the bill that has to do, the first part of the bill has to do with the Department of Public Safety and Correctional Services providing notice to the Baltimore Police Department. The bill, as we passed it, required notice within 48 hours. The Senate bill requires 24 hours worth of notice. And the Senate bill also says that notice provided under the section shall be provided in a manner that allows for the sorting and filtering of information provided by the Department of Public Safety and Correctional Services. Those amendments would be fine. So we're taking those amendments. However, in the second part of the bill, it deals with the Baltimore City Jobs Court pilot program. As we passed it, the pilot program was to receive funding of at least $500,000 from the Baltimore Workforce Development Board to help with the Jobs Court program. The Senate made it just 1 year, fiscal 24. The House bill had fiscal 24 through 28. So the amendment effectively would add those years back in. And at this point, I will stop and say, Claire, is there anything else that I'm missing?
Not about those 2
All right.
components.
So
But the third is just a Senate bill that we didn't have.
yeah, the third part is a Senate bill that we didn't have. And it creates a report related to, it requires the Baltimore Police Department to report to the governor and the General Assembly regarding the firearms that have been destroyed, seized, or recovered by the Baltimore Police Department in the preceding calendar year. It provides information as to the number of firearms destroyed, seized, or recovered, the manufacturer and type of each firearm, whether each firearm had a serial number, the reason for the destruction of the firearm if it was destroyed, the source of each firearm, including seizure from a criminal defendant, evidence, an agency purchase, or whether it was turned into the agency by a citizen, and any other relevant information. The reason for the third part of this bill is the city's attempt to begin to track these illegal guns and track, when the Baltimore Police Department gets them. And so with that, I see Delegate Davis has a hand raised. Let me do this. Could I get a motion on the amendment, then we can discuss the amendment? Could I have a
Move the
motion?
amendment.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All right, so now we can do discussion on the amendment, Delegate Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Whose bill is this?
This bill is Senator McCrae's bill.
Okay, thank you.
The individual bills that were have been mashed together, one of them was mine, one of them was Delegate Robin Lewis, and I actually don't know who the third one is off the top of my head, but I know
It's Senator Hayes. Senator Hayes.
Oh, Senator Hayes. So we never got it. It was never a House
Right.
bill. So that's a
Right.
Senator Hayes bill that they merged into this mashup.
Thank you.
All right, so I've got the motion to adopt the amendment. Any further discussion on the amendment? Delegate Bartlett.
Okay, so we started out, if I understand correctly, talking about notifying the police department when a defendant is released before trial.
Correct.
Right.
That was bill number one. That was my bill.
Right, and so now we have the provision about the years. Is that the second part?
That's the second part. The second part so there effectively are three bills that the Senate merged together.
Okay.
My bill, which it was my bill, the part about the part in the amendment about the years extends the funding that's available for the Jobs Court program beyond fiscal 24 to fiscal 28. That's the way we passed it in the House. They
Okay.
changed that in the Senate, so we're amending this so it reflects what we did in the House.
Okay,
All right.
yep.
All right. All in favor of the amendment, please raise your hands. Delegates Bartlett, Moon, Davis, Lopez, Williams, Crutchfield, Howell, Grammer, Sham, Tolles, Cardin, Anderson, Fisher. Anybody opposed to the amendment? And Shetty. Opposed to the amendment is Cox, Shoemaker, McComas. All right, so now we're on the bill as amended. Could I have a motion on the bill as amended, please?
Move favorable as amended.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, so with the bill as amended, discussion on the bill as amended, now Delegate Erica.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm looking through my packet. I don't see these amendments, I don't think. Are they not in our packets?
They should be.
Maybe I'm just looking in the wrong
Five.
place.
Page 20 of your packet.
Okay, page 20,
Handwritten page 20.
handwritten page 20.
553021.
Oh, I see. Oh, it's like okay. It's just a one-page amendment, but it's got a lot of stuff in it, I guess.
It adds the years that the Senate took out for the funding of the Jobs Court program.
Oh,
Effective.
okay. Okay. All right, thanks.
All right. Okay, Delegate Cox, then I see Shoemaker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Maybe you mentioned this, but what was the reason for removing all jurisdictions except for Baltimore City?
So that goes to sort of the first part of the bill. originally it was going to be everywhere. The Department of Public Safety and Correctional Services, as we know, runs the jail. And so they stepped forward and said, we'd be willing to help you run that part of the program, not the jobs court part, not the third part, but that part of the program. Well, actually, the third part is a report that the Baltimore PD, right? So just the first part. They stepped forward and said, we would help you do this. So that's why it's only in Baltimore City, because they don't run the local detention centers anywhere else.
Okay.
Right. All right, we're on the bill as amended. Don't see any further comments. Delegate Bartlett is smiling for some reason, perhaps because it's 8 minutes to 7. All right. We should do a roll call then. The Vice Chair?
Yes.
Shoemaker?
No.
Anderson?
Yes.
Erican?
No.
Bartlett?
To explain my smile, Mr. Chair. My husband walked in the room. Yes.
That's sweet. That's so nice. All right, Delegate Carden?
Yes.
Cox? Oh, you muted your, there we go.
I'm sorry. No.
Okay. Crutchfield?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Juanita Fisher?
Yes.
Grammer?
Yes.
Howell?
Yes.
Rachel Jones?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
McComas?
No.
Munoz?
No.
Shetty?
Yes.
Cham?
Yes.
Tolles?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
It's 15. All right, that concludes the bills for this evening. We all wish Delegate Bartlett and her husband a very happy anniversary this evening as they're about to celebrate that. We will be back tomorrow with bill hearings and yes, another vote session in between the first of 2 sessions tomorrow. What a better way to celebrate the day after your anniversary. This has been the House